All right, well, let's go back into the sports world, and we'll start in the NFL, and then, of course, in everyone's favorite division. The Philadelphia Eagles made waves in the NFL on Sunday after choosing to pull rookie quarterback Jalen Hurts early in the fourth quarter versus Washington, in a game that decided the fate of the NFC East. Hurts had struggled in the game, but the team was still within 3 points. Instead, head coach Doug Peterson elected to pull Hurts and insert Nate Sudfeld into the game, as Carson Wentz was not dressed for the game. Sudfeld was unable to rally the team, and they lost to Washington, who in turn won the NFC East and secured that playoff spot. This was met with some dismay by not only Eagles fans, but also the New York Giants, who would have instead went to the playoffs had Washington lost. So, Jay, was this brazen tanking of a rival, or simply a think tank gone wrong?
Oh, wow. We've seen I think in recent memory, when you talk about tanking, I really I must say, I really think we've seen much worse than this. We only have to what do you know, remain in the same city of brotherly love and just go back a few years, hit the rewind real quick, bring back Sam Hinkie, and just there's tanking. There's tanking. Tanking to me, it's not one game. Go ahead.
I was gonna say no. We could stay in the same city in the same sport and look at see what the Jets did a couple of weeks ago when that was tanking on a high level right there.
If you're referring to the game that
Greg Williams.
the last game of Greg Williams, I think you're absolutely right. So yeah, we've seen. I mean, the Sixers tanked for years. I don't think when I think of tanking isn't something that you just wake up one morning and say, you know what, week 17, we're 4-10, 4-10-1, 4-11-1. I think that'd be beneficial for us. I would say, in Doug Peterson's defense, and I don't think there's much you can defend about Doug Peterson this particular season. But for the record, Jalen Hurts was 7 for 20 for 72 yards, and an interception. What the hell is impressive about that? So you mean to tell me that, Jalen Hurts was, he was not very good, and I think it's something that we could expect at some point. I thought Jalen Hurts, he'd come in there, give him a spark. But at some point, this team just proved that it just wasn't very good. I mean, I would make the argument to you, the real crime in all this, if you really thought that the Eagles were trying to win every game, you would have played Carson Wentz, every game of the season. But then if Doug Peterson is saying, you know what, Jalen Hurts just didn't have it tonight. Let's see what Nate Sudfeld has. Well, Nate Sudfeld didn't have much either. I don't know. This is the type of dude you have to Google to get it to see what he looks like. We don't know. I gotta be very upfront. Well, maybe you do. Maybe you watched this game. The spoiler alert, I didn't watch this game. This is the NFC East, which is in all likelihood, in my mind, this is the worst division we've ever seen. You realize I would let me draw your attention to remember Tim Tebow made the playoffs in 2011. That was the year where you had Denver, you had the Raiders, you had the Chiefs. They were all 8-8, and the Chargers were 7-9. That is literally, by all account probability, the most mediocre division you could ever have, and yet the most mediocre. What do we have? We have a 7-9, a 6-10. Of another a 5-11 and a 4-11-1. Do you realize if the Eagles had won this game, you would have had 3 6-10 teams and a 5-10-1 team. Do you know how hard that is to pull off? To not only be that precise in your levels of overall badness, but to also be just that together about it. That's something to behold. The really interesting point to me in all of this, much more than what took place with the Eagles and the old football team, which I have a new name for them, and I think I'll for the sake of time, I'll reveal it to you on Friday. But the New York Giants, their response to all of this was quite interesting, and all you have to do is you just have to hit social media at some point and just take a look, and you look at some of the Giants players and you say, here we go, you got Eli Manning coming out the woodwork. I didn't even know Eli Manning had a Twitter, but apparently he does. He's out here asking questions. Saquon Barkley's in there. You got Darius Slayton. He's wondering what's going on. Darius Slayton's in here a lot. You have Golden Tate's gaslighting the Flames of NFC least divisional division. Golden Tate says the Eagles hate us more than they hate Washington, and they want Chase Young to win offensive rookie MVP. What does any of this do? The New York Giants, their disdain in all of this is the fact that it's almost like the New York Giants are Donald Trump in this sense. They think they got cheated out of the worst division in NFL history? The New York Giants think that something the Philadelphia Eagles do, who we all agree are not very good and would have been in last place in division no matter the outcome of this game. But the playoff hopes of the New York Giants, they hinged on the fact that the Philadelphia Eagles could come out in the very last game of the regular season in the NFL, which is a sham in itself, by the way. Who the hell made a decision that the last Sunday night game would be two teams from the worst division in football, that only one of them was even in this? Why couldn't we have the Cardinals and the Rams? Has anyone ever stopped to ask that question? No, probably not. But I just don't understand. The New York Giants showed up. They is big mad over that. The Giants players, are they mad that they didn't win more than 6 games? This is what happens when you start out 0-5 and you just win more games. Give me a 7-9 team that is complaining today that they didn't make the playoffs. How about the Vikings? Is anybody in Minnesota complaining that they didn't have the fortune of playing in the NFCs? Where are they at? And let me get to Joe Judge very quickly before I turn it over. And I do want to say it's very easy in this age, and you see it recently. You see it with leaked phone calls by the Washington Post. There could be a 60-minute phone call, and you know good and well there's only going to be a 1 to 2 minute special that someone's going to hone in on. And it's the same thing with Joe Judge. Joe Judge had a lot to say in his press conference, and he actually, to his credit, after reviewing the facts, he took some responsibility and said, you know what, we're out of the playoffs because of what we didn't do. But at the same time, I don't want to hear the crying about, you know what, Philadelphia really disrespected the game of football and the integrity of the game. I've just never seen so much. I've never seen a 6-10 team whine so much. Well, you know what? If you want to make the playoffs, win more games. Where are I don't believe the Miami Dolphins are complaining today. The Miami Dolphins went 10-6. They can't find their way into the playoffs. If the Miami Dolphins had figured out a way to beat Buffalo, the Indianapolis Colts would have been out of the playoffs at 11-5. I don't know if they'd have been crying about it. But the New York Giants, it's just unbelievable. It really is unbelievable how the New York Giants are the real victim in all of this. It's shocking to me.
I agree with Jay. It is shocking that the Giants want to play victim. Really? You should have been playing victim when you was giving away money to Eli Manning in his last couple of years. But that's neither here nor there. Listen, this was brazen tanking by Dougie P, right? He wasn't trying to win this game. Listen, this was blatantly. This is about as blatant as the security job that we just talked about in the last segment. This is blatant. First of all, for what Jay said, Jalen Hurts was not having the best game in the past game, but his legs was very effective. The game was still a winnable game when he decided to pull Hurts. And then you pull Hurts for Nate Sudfeld that you say, I want to see what we had in Nate Sudfeld. How many opportunities have you had to see what you had in Nate Sudfeld? Matter of fact, if you really gave a rat's ass about what you had in Sudfeld, you wouldn't have drafted Hurts. But hey, whatever. Let me see what we got in Sudfeld, right? I'm trying to win the game. Are you really? Because I sure didn't see Deshaun Jackson. I didn't see Alshon Jeffrey. I didn't see Fletcher Cox. I didn't see.
Well, we don't see those two fellas on most occasions, to be fair.
Right. But they even further my fact, they was healthy scratches. So
they gotta save them for next year. They gotta save them.
They tired? Nah, they shouldn't even be on their roster next year. But were they tired? What do you say? Oh, you saving them for the playoff run, huh? Tell me how that went for you, Doug. How they show out for you. So clearly, it was very evident that Dougie P was not trying to win this game. He was trying to make a stunt. Let's say why. Why would WP outright lose this game? Well, it's the difference between 4 draft spots. Either you're going to draft number 6, which what they have now, or you would have won the game, you would have drafted 10. 6 give you a little more room to move up a couple of spots to get a guy that you really want, whereas 10 is going to cost you. It's going to cost you. So I feel Doug Peterson knew what the hell was going on here. The Eagles ain't going to the playoffs, so what the hell do I got to lose if I blow this game and move up 6 spots? This was blatant. He wasn't trying to win. There's no way you could convince me he was trying to win, because if he was, his best players would have been on the field, and they wasn't. They wasn't. Instead, he put the game in the hands of Nate Sudfeld. What do you know? What a closer. That guy's a closer. Not only that, the other play that let me know that he really wasn't trying to win was when he went for it on like 4th and 3 or 4th and 5 or some trash, when all he had to do was just kick the field goal. And the score would have been 17-17. Instead, they don't get the conversion, and we know how the rest of the game go. So, yeah, man, answer your question. This was brazy tanking by WP, because I got a Super Bowl.
Can I say this whole division is a disrespect to the game overall? This story is just funny. I know we were going to talk about this today, and I knew what had happened. I watched the end of that game. I don't really feel like, one, if you're going to Nate Sudfeld, how is that any better than Jalen Hurts? I know the guy was struggling, but it was still a 3-point game in the fourth quarter. If this guy is so good that he replaced Carson Wentz, so you're about to eat an albatross of a contract. Like, you're eating an albatross, eating another albatross of a contract. Why would you not leave him in the game? I mean, I'm reading through this article after the fact, and they're talking about, well, we were resting players, and we had planned to put Nate in the game all along. What? Yeah. Really? You really were. You really wanted to get a quarter of Nate Sudfeld. That was really going to change the 2021 Philadelphia Eagles next season, based off a quarter of action in the week 17 with your entire team out.
I am so sure that the viewers were just thrilled at that too. I'm sure the last Sunday night football game of the year, what is that? Waiting all day for a Sunday night and Nate Sudfeld. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Because Sudfeld's arm was not better than Hurts' legs, I might add.
I don't even have to watch any type of film to know that.
It's just ridiculous. Like, I'm just reading this article and they're trying to justify it, and man, it sounds like he's really. He made a lot of people mad. I read 2 defensive backs had to be restrained, and like pretty much no one on the team wanted it to happen. You can't put a guy like Hurts in at quarterback and run him through the rest of these games and then just rank him out. Oh, because we're a little concerned about his health. We're concerned with Carson Wentz's health. He's in bubble wrap in a crate, ready for the UPS guy to come pick him up. Yeah,
I hate to keep cutting in, but I would remind everybody's concerned about their health right now. There's a pandemic going on. I don't know if you've noticed.
Pick them up after the holidays.
And I'll leave with this: the Giants pretending or acting like Doug Peterson gave a single crap what happened to them and if they went to the playoffs or not is hilarious.
You will notice that I don't. The outrage is all the New York Giants, and because they're really not upset about the integrity of the game. I mean, come on. Do we really? The Pittsburgh Steelers trotted Mason Rudolph out there, and they sat Joe Hayden, they sat T.J. Watt, they sat Cam Hayward. For the integrity of the game and actually winning, they should have came out there and really went toe-to-toe with the Cleveland Browns.
Chiefs sat everybody and lost to Los Angeles.
It wasn't in their best interest to do that at that particular moment in time. No one's raking them over the coals, and nobody else is raking the Eagles over the coals either. To me, it's just the Giants because of the adverse effect it had on them. Sucks to suck. Win more than 6 games.
And the fact that it was a primetime Sunday game.
That's egregious. I don't know how that happened, but again, we're getting a lot of people fired. Hopefully, we'll see how it goes.